How do you sleep at night? On a big pile of old pizza boxes. My observings of the Beard Nest saga, part number 1. Good day, I'm Gelfling. I thought I'd share some of my scientific findings on the neckbeard and legbeard genus, as I am related to a literal nest of them. Pass me some holy water, some soap, and a Hail Mary, as I share some of my stories of my aunt, uncle, cousin, and his wife. Oh god, the cousin's old enough to marry? He's old enough to know better? Let's get a cast list. Gelfling, das ROP. Karen with a C is our legbeard aunt. I'm using a C because most Karens I met are nice. So C for the words crazy and the like. Yeah, the like see you next Tuesday. Popo, my enabling uncle, who was both a fireman and a policeman at one time. Busy boy. He doesn't really make a big entrance until later in the saga. There's also Techbeard, my cousin, who insists on having all the newest, coolest electronics, though he can't afford any of them. And of course there's Cool Cuz, the only one who managed to be a sane person in that mess growing up. I mean, Techbeard, I kinda get it. I like gadgets too, but then you get a job that can afford you the gadgets, right? Come on, man, tech pays big. Just do something constructive with it. Anyways, let's begin my tale with the first generation of this beard nest, when my uncle, my mom's brother, met his wife and married her. Back in the day, according to my mom, she was an entitled little brat that often threatened to beat my mom up while holding up a closed fist with their thumb across the top of her fingers. Yeah, like some kind of cartoon villain or something. Punching his fist into the flat of his hand like, hey, you're gonna get a pounding. It's hilarious to me. Needless to say, all she ended up getting from my mom was a deadpanned, "What are you doing, Karen?" So imagine my mom's surprise when her brother Popo actually married Karen. I mean, somebody had to do it. I'm just kind of sorry it was Popo, honestly. I can't truly recall many stories of this time because I was not yet born. But one story of Karen versus my mom will always make me shake my head, and that is my baby shower. My mom was anxious about raising a little human of her own, as any first-time parent would be. It is so overwhelming. So yeah, her family threw her a baby shower to encourage my mom and to congratulate her. Well, perhaps a month or two before, Aunt Karen had announced her own pregnancy. My cousin and I are a year apart. This was not a problem. I mean, congratulations to her. The problem comes when my mom was being given the baby items. Aunt Karen made her announcement. Since I'm pregnant too, I think my little boy would love these. Yes, observer, she took over my mother's baby shower. And everyone's just okay with this? Boot her out. If you're really that down on your luck, Karen, that you really need those clothes, just ask. You don't have to go about it all duplicitously, but don't expect me to sit here and put up with it either. No one batted an eye. What? Other than my mom. But my mom is a quiet and private person and didn't want to rock the boat. So Aunt Karen managed to steal many of the better toys and bottles from this shower. Classy. Bro, I'm losing my mind here. I understand that Karen probably does seek out and find people she can take advantage of, but this is just madness. Not one person spoke up. Not even the person whose stuff all that stuff was. You're getting robbed in your own house? I can't. So yes, years go by, and I grow up, as do my cousins. Karen having brought 2 strapping boys, and my mom having 2 more besides me along with my adopted sister, making our clan. We lived in the countryside, and I'd say that we were mostly free-range growing up, knowing when it was time to come home only by the sound of our mom whistling across the plains for us. Idyllic, isn't it? One summer, Popo asked my mom and my dad if Cool Cuz could stay with us for a while, as he and his mother weren't getting along, and Cool Cuz was threatening to run away. My mom agreed, and Cool Cuz stayed with us the whole summer. He's on the spectrum, and he loves everyone, so hearing that he disliked his mother so much that he wanted to run away was shocking. Seems like the only one who really knows what's going on in that house. Though at the time, I mean, I really didn't blame him. I'm no real scientist, more of an artist by trade and tarot reader by hobby, but I wouldn't be surprised if Karen has Munchausen. She insisted on having both Neckbeard and Cool Cuz on so many different kinds of medications for ADHD, OCD, bipolar disorder, and I'm certain other things. I was only 13 at this time, so I don't remember it all. Bro, that's wild. Does this like 12-year-old kid really need to be medicated that heavily? I'm skeptical, to say the least. Your kid's just a walking chemical cocktail. Boy, anyway, Karen was also constantly having health issues as well, but mysteriously the doctors couldn't find out what was wrong. She would even doctor hop until she found one that would diagnose her with something that was talked about a lot for the time, like celiac, bipolar, sensitivities to things, although the sensitivity would change often. It's a little sus right there, honestly. You ever catch her like claiming a peanut allergy and then eating like Reese's cups or something? That's the biggest gotcha. Thankfully though, our OP didn't have many interactions with Karen, though I remember having a sleepover there once and their house was a mess. When I say this was a beard nest, it was indeed a nest. There were pathways going to and from areas instead of room to move around in. The kitchen had piles of dirty dishes on the counter and in the sink, and I remember a really funky smell in their house. I don't blame Cool Cuz for wanting to run away. I mean, I would have done the very same thing if I were in his shoes. It sounds to me like they're hoarders or something like that. And it's gotta be Karen doing it, right? Since Popo's always at work being a fire policeman. All right, Fire, you're under arrest. I mostly encountered Aunt Karen at holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas to be exact, and every year she'd come to the family gatherings wearing sunglasses inside, and she'd sit on the couch and either crochet or look at her phone. One year she brought sushi for herself for Thanksgiving. Well, I only brought 12 pieces, so everybody could have one, or I could just eat it all. That is ludicrous. I will close this part with one more tale of Aunt Karen before I continue my rambling. 'Twas the Thanksgiving of 2017, when things were more or less sane in the world. Yeah, more or less. My mom and my grandma always traded out holiday dinners. If my grandma hosted Thanksgiving, my mom would host Christmas, and then they'd switch. Please note that Aunt Karen never hosted a holiday. She knows her limitations, honestly. This year, it was my mom's turn to host. I was helping mostly by just staying out of the way. I'm a bit of an antisocial introvert, so I find it best to just stay out of the way until my help is actively needed. I always sort of dread the family get-togethers, mostly due to the impending nest of beards. They are loud, they're apparently allergic to hygiene, they're loud, they're rude. Did I mention they're loud? Anyway, I just tell myself that I could just go back to my room if it all becomes too much, or at least stay by my grandparents, who are both friggin' epic. God, this story's speaking to me in a real deep way right now. There's a reason why nobody's allowed in my office. We'll have a party at my house and I just kind of like make appearances for an hour. And then I'm like, okay, tell me when everybody's gone. It's just way too overstimulating. And I really think the pandemic might have broke me in more than one way. Anyways, back to the story. It was indeed only a matter of time, and soon the nest of beards arrived. Neckbeard, who was a beanpole while on the medications as a kid, had quickly grown into a rotund giant. Comes in with a loud, "Hey!" He's friendly, but he's still a beard. I greet him with a hug along with the others. Yeah, still allergic to hygiene. All of them. You should check out the bathroom at their house, OP. I bet it's like just the bathtub's filled with old AOL CDs that Mama Karen can't get rid of. Anyway, Tech Beard is followed by Uncle Popo and Cool Cuz. I greet Cool Cuz with a bro fist since he is that cool. Cool Cuz asks my dad if he can visit his truck, and he's out the door again as soon as my dad says yes. Take me with you, Cuz! Then Aunt Karen waddles in. Sunglasses glued to her face as usual, and she shares her greetings, a crochet bag in her hand. She quickly plants herself in the living room, sunglasses still on, and crocheting. This year, I had asked, "What's with the sunglasses, Karen? It's almost 2:30.
Oh, I have a migraine,
she answered.
The sunglasses help.
Now, I've had migraines. They're so bad that I can't get out of bed when they hit. Thankfully, I don't have them often, but I do know for a fact that sunglasses inside doesn't help, at least for me. And I'm darn sure that looking at your phone or focusing on something usually makes the migraines worse. All the same, I get a nod from my dad, a silent "atta gal" for calling her out on it. I don't know, that one seems petty to me. She's sitting there, she's crocheting, not really bothering anybody. I laugh at her for a lot of other things, but I give her a pass on the sunglasses indoors. That's fine. Whatever. Soon, dinner is ready. Now, my family are pretty healthy. Sure, none of us are toned, and my usual workouts included carrying bales of hay and bags of grain for my beloved horses, but we hardly ever ate outside, and we considered ourselves foodies. Hell yeah, eating. I do that too. High five. We love good old-fashioned homemade meals, and that's what this Thanksgiving dinner was. Everything was handmade by Mom and Dad. It looked like a classical feast. We sat, said grace, while I bit my tongue to keep from shouting "Grace!" at the table as a joke. Oh, damn it. If Dad's not gonna do it, I guess it's up to me. And we started getting food.
I can't eat this,
Aunt Karen suddenly proclaimed. My mom looked perplexed. I'm sorry?
The turkey, I can't eat it,
Aunt Karen clarified. We all look at the beautifully golden turkey on a bed of stuffing. My dad took pride in his turkey, as usually turkeys dry quickly when cooking. This was something that Gordon Ramsay would give points for, I'm sure. I mean, I ain't no Gordon Ramsay, but I think the secret to a really moist turkey is to just leave it a little raw in the middle. Eventually Dad takes the bait, and he says, "Why can't you eat the turkey, Karen?"
Look at the stuffing,
Aunt Karen answered.
That's all gluten. I can't eat the turkey. I'm celiac.
Yeah, she said that. Well, then take some meat from the breast, my dad offered.
No, the turkey soaked up the gluten. I can't eat any of it,
Aunt Karen answered. She then started picking and choosing what my parents had made by hand as what was healthy and what was not. I'm pretty sure she even said the green bean casserole was unfit for her. Okay, more for me, I guess. But the worst part was that she controlled what Cool Cuz ate, and that poor guy barely got to eat anything. You know what, Karen? I liked you better when you were knitting. Get in there and crochet something. Come into my home, berate my cooking. That's it. That's it. I'm not playing with you. You need to go sit on the porch. Then the usual loudness ensued as the nest of beards tried to talk over everyone else's conversations that they weren't even a part of. After dinner, I quickly retreated to the quiet of my room and chilled with some music and my bird Naomi, but this was only the beginning for me. I was growing tired of the constant smell, the shouting, and the rudeness of this nest of beards. So I watched and I waited, at least for now. I hope you guys like this part of the story. I have at least 2 more parts, maybe more since Umbridge has yet to enter the scene. I have one more major story of Karen before I move on to the present generation and the dramas that there are there. I'll warn you now, however, that there is manipulation, and maltreatment of elders, not necessarily like physical harm, but taking advantage of my epic grandparents to the extreme. Oh, string them up! Not the grandparents, dude.
Unforgivable.
Sorry if this story felt a bit messy. There was some backstory that I had to get in here for research, you know. Yeah, we didn't even get like inside the nest of beards quite yet. That's what I showed up for. Could you feed it to me, please? Thanks. I'm sure it's coming. It's coming right now. And this is also your non sequitur reminder to subscribe to ReddX if you haven't already. Maybe share the video around. I'd appreciate that so much. Let's move on into part 2 and see if we get like a really overly descriptive close-up glimpse inside this beard nest right now. Observations of a neckbeard nest, part number 2. Christmas greed, oh Christmas greed. Yeah, I guess. After Thanksgiving comes a break, a really long break. I need a longer break than just a month. Hello, everyone! Hi again, Gelfling. Thank y'all for reading the last part of my nest of beards. I'm continuously observing so I can share my findings here for science! Promise Swizzies, just a fact! The parts from here on out should be more cohesive. I wanted to get as much research in the first part as I could, and they're from old memories and stories that are not often told. So I hope it wasn't too bad. But now, Christmas has come for this next part, and it was in the same year as the Thanksgiving dinner in the last part. So here's my next report on the beard nest. We got the same cast list as last time, but a couple of new characters have been unlocked. All we had to do was complete the tutorial. We've got Umbridge, who is Cousin's wife, who is a lot like Karen and also loves Harry Potter. And then there's Epic Grandma and Epic Grandpa. For part 1, poke this link. He won't mind. Except you can't poke it in the video. Got him. So, Christmas 2017. Christmas. The caroling and the cookies, the trees and traditions. Love that alliteration. Good stuff right there. There's not many other seasons that bring families together quite like this one. It is kind of too bad that it's in the middle of winter. I never enjoyed the cold, but I would still venture out now and then from my hibernation. This Christmas, the family was gathering at Epic Grandparents' home. My grandpa was in the Navy. High five. Mine too. That's why I joined the Navy. He was an electrician while my mom was growing up. So, electrician's mate, right? That's his rate, EM. But that's really how you do it, alright? You get out of the Navy, you apply what you learned, and you make bank off it. Too bad in the Navy I was trained to be a postal clerk. Logistics specialist now, which sounds way better on a resume, but I digress. ROP states that she personally enjoys going to fish with Epic Grandpa every fall. My grandma is the classic grandma. Cookies, lemonade, the whole shebang-a-bang. Her cookies are the best, no question. How about what kind of cookies? What are we working with here? We had all gathered and ate dinner. Aunt Karen had brought her own food, yet again. But the subject of this report happens after dinner. I mean, honestly, I'd encourage her to bring her own food since she can't eat whatever everybody else is eating. That's fine, I'm not offended. But if you dare criticize my lovely grandparents' food at my lovely grandparents' house, I'm gonna rip your tongue out of your mouth. Anyway, something you should all know. At the time, my family did a white elephant grab box sort of tradition until about 2 years ago when Techbeard had a fit about the gifts that were in the box and stole every single water bottle my mom had put in, and these were aluminum bottles. They were nice. Yeah, but Techbeard wanted an iPad. Bro, it's a white elephant. What do you want? The rules of the grab box were as follows. You could either steal a gift from someone or take the box. Once a gift is stolen, the one that lost the gift can steal or take from the box. A gift can be stolen 3 times before it's frozen. All collected items must be in plain view. Of course, the nest of beards can get pretty loud when it comes to this game, and I once wanted to wear noise-canceling headphones since no one called them out on this. So if they're reading this, Nest of Beards, now you know why I don't enjoy holidays with you guys. Sorry. What is that? You just like post it on Reddit in hopes that they might stumble across it? No, we're all adults, have an open and honest conversation. I don't mean to go in on you or anything, OP, but I'm just saying, if it's really a problem, that is the way to get it solved. Anyway, the game is going on, and Aunt Karen is clearly slipping gifts favored behind her chair. She did this often, but this time my brother and I were calling her out on it, and we even called Techbeard and his wife Umbridge out on it when they started hiding their favored gifts. Soon, all of the gifts were grabbed, stolen, or claimed, and the trading began. And as the classy people they are, they started asking my siblings to trade our good grabs with their poor ones. This ended the trading quickly since my siblings and I weren't gonna trade what good things we were actually able to hold on to. The next day, I'm scrolling through Facebook and spotted a post from old Aunt Karen. I forget exactly what the post said, but it went along the lines of,
I'm so disappointed with the greed that the Christmas season brings out in people, even among family members. Truly disappointing. God bless all of you, and Happy New Year.
You taking a long look into the mirror right now? You're the greediest one of anyone, Aunt Karen. So yeah, Aunt Karen was super mad that my siblings and I wouldn't trade our good grabs with the smaller things that she and her family grabbed, and she went to whine on Facebook, as people do, I guess. I really wanted to comment on it, but I was told not to, and I continue to wonder why our entitled little nest of beards was allowed to continue behavior that only a 4-year-old would appreciate. Bro, give some credits to 4-year-olds. They can point out a-holes pretty dang quick in my experience. I say call them out on it. Anonymously link them to this video. It counts. Speaking of which, this concludes the tales of Aunt Karen, as she's now in Arizona, having been kicked out of her family house for disturbing the peace. Well, there's a story. I can't share that tale, however, as I don't know all the details, and I do want to be legit in my reports. Ask your cousin, bro, do something. So before I end this report, as it was a fairly short tale on the character of my auntie dearest, I'll use the rest of this report to introduce my cousin Techbeard, his wife Umbridge, and their son, oh no, they reproduced, their son Kiddo. Techbeard could give Eggman a run for his money, and a run for his nickname. He is large, round, smells of sweat, yellowed teeth, and oily hair, the usual neckbeard motif. He also tends to take "no thank you, I'm good" as a "please do try and change my mind," which sadly, as a quiet person that hates confrontation and pressure, I am weak against it. Well, sounds like a good time to get some practice in. You can't throw your hands up and be like, I'm weak against it, I don't know. That's the only reason he's taken all this as far as he has. Nobody ever sat him down and gave him a good old reality check. Umbridge is more or less an average-looking woman, though she constantly has her front lip lifted, like she's attempting to get that Megan Fox look, but she ends up looking about as deep as Bella Swan. She and I have tried to hit it off, but after one time hanging out with her and opening up that I enjoy tarot and whatnot, she attempted to talk about it in front of family members that don't know, and would absolutely flip out if they did know. While I'm thankful that no one else heard her comments, I am now keeping my distance from her. I did tarot for a long time, man, to pay myself when I was living in my car. Every single member of my family was supportive of this. So I don't know. That's out of my realm of experience, but I do want to take the chance to say, hey, thank you, family. Kiddo is now 4 years old, and while he's a smart kid, I'd compare him more to a 1-year-old husky puppy with no stimulus. That being said, his parents have chosen gentle raising to bring up the little lad, so instead of a timeout when Kiddo misbehaves, his parents give a gentle, "No, Kiddo, we don't do that," at least 7 to 8 times before an actual punishment is initiated. That kid's gonna be so confused, man. You gotta use a firm hand. On top of all of this stuff, I feel it would behoove me to note that both parents work all day. I am by no means bashing any set of parents that works full-time or even a single parent working full-time. My complaint comes down to the childcare, which just so happens to land on why I originally started posting. For my epic grandparents. Yes, dear readers, Techbeard and Umbridge used my 80-year-old grandparents to babysit their husky puppy in human child form. This has resulted in my grandmother needing back surgery, as lifting this kid up is all but crushing her. Kiddo is a hefty boy, ain't no lie there. Now, I'm not gonna lay into Kiddo because, yeah, he's 4, but I will lay into my cousins for taking advantage of my grandparents for many, many, many things. Well, I guess it's not as bad as them stealing money, but like, you really don't want to watch the kid, just say that. Come on, guys. How must it feel to not be able to talk and really open up with your family? That is insane to me. Anywho, we will wrap up this second part with a small story that still rather bothers me, and it is opened up this past Easter, I think it was. When I was 13, my parents gave me a yearling filly. That's a year-old horse baby for anyone not fluent in horse girl, lol. That's pretty cool though. 13, you got a pony, boy? Electricianship pays the bills. But that pony was my world. I trained her, raised her, showed her, all of it. She was my horse and I, her rider. For 18 long and wonderful years, we went through the thick and thin and saw so many adventures until the dreaded year of 2020, and I had to say goodbye to her. She developed lung cancer, and with winter around the corner, there was no way that she would see another spring. I admit I'm slightly tearing up at the point of writing this. Damn, dude. What'd you feed your horse all those cigars? I'm sorry. Oh, Lord, I'm sorry. It's a deep and meaningful relationship. I'm trying to heal your pain with laughter, damn it. 2 decades with an animal, man. That really must rip you up. I am sorry that happened. In the following sad weeks of struggling to find the magic in the world again, I got many cards and condolences from my friends and family. Cool Cuz gave me a card, which is by a box I have that holds one of her baby teeth. Yes, I'm a crazy horse girl. Which is next to her saddle and a cutting from her tail. Needless to say, anyone who knew me even a little bit knew that I had a horse that I loved as a best friend, and it was all over Facebook at the time. I ain't out here to judge the horse girls. My own mother is a horse girl, for God's sake. Or a horse woman, I guess. And what do you think the Beard Nest had to say during this cataclysmic event? Nothing. Nothing from Uncle Popo, nothing from Techbeard, Umbridge, or Aunt Karen. And I admit I took some offense to this, as both cousins grew up with my hooded bestie, and I knew I lost a bit of myself that day as well. But I let it go. No matter. As ridiculous as it sounds to some, my horse was just a little rescue horse. No big. I mean, kind of big, but cope's a cope, I guess. And then, in the spring, I was sitting in my living room, reminding myself that being with family is important, even if they're loud, and I would rather hide in the safety of my own room, when Techbeard asked a raking question. Hey, do you still ride? Now, dear readers, I don't think I need to tell you that riding a horse isn't like going to the gym. It's expensive to just rent a horse and go ride on a trail. And this was only 2 years after I lost my ride to lung cancer. No, Techbeard, I answered, reminding myself to be cordial. I haven't ridden since I had to put my horse down. Well, I thought you'd know a place, Techbeard quickly answered. You know, I'd love to get Kiddo into riding. Horse poopy dukes. I know darn well he wasn't asking about a good place to ride, since they're cheapskates that won't even pay for a daycare to spare my poor grandmother, and Kiddo is 4. There is no way that a barn would allow a 4-year-old to start riding, especially one that I'm pretty sure is a husky werepuppy. Actually, husky werepuppy's a really good dog. You just have to train it, which these beards definitely don't. So my conclusion, He wanted to subject my hoofed bestie to babysitting. Oh, she probably meant to say hoofed earlier instead of hooded. Oh well, leave it in. Bomb-proof that horse was, but she didn't tolerate any nonsense, and I would not have allowed Kiddo to ride her until he was at least 8 or 9 at the earliest. I didn't comment any of this out loud since I was a bit miffed and still slightly salty, but I digress. Yeah, and then the kid does something dumb and falls off the horse, breaks his arm. The parents are like, you gotta pay for it. No, I'm not opening up myself to any of that. Even if the horse was here, no. Anywho, this concludes the backstory of the Beard Nest. Now into the actual tales that I can tell more coherently. So next up, I venture into the nest itself for a game of Magic the Gathering and birthday cake. Whoa! Until then, thank you for reading my totally scientific reports of this neckbeard nest, and I hope to continue this for future encounters with said nest. Stay safe. Remember, all crystals can be used for protection. Just depends on how hard you throw them. While this family is an absolute train wreck, I really want to get into like the meat and potatoes of it. It's been set up, but I still feel like we're just skimming the surface of the garbage. I need you to lay it on me, OP. Fill me up to my neck. Pack it in there so hard that my spine compresses from a powder into a solid and then powder it again, you know? They are hateable, I'll give you that, but I'm still really looking for that yuck factor. So we're gonna go into part 3, we'll see how it works out. Thank you so much for joining me, especially if you've watched this far. Let's get into it. Observations of a Beard Nest, part number 3. Into the nest. Yes, here we go, lay it on me. Hello, ReddX, lovely readers and passers-by. I'm back with a report of my venture into the nest of Techbeard, Umbridge, and Kiddo. My curiosity and enjoyment of Magic the Gathering had gotten the better of me, and while my fluffy white tail had been soiled going down this rabbit hole, and I have emerged slightly disturbed. As anyone would be. That's how you know it's the good stuff. We got our cast. Looks about the same as before, except for Randos 1 and 2, couple pals of Techbeard, and then Maiden. This was the only other girl there, at their house, I guess, but she was a tough lass, so Maiden, short for Shield Maiden, and now into the nest. So this venture started, I'd like to say nearly a year before I actually entered the nest. This is how hesitant I was to actually venture into an active den of beards. I could see that even in the saga, a little bit of trepidation. That's pretty cool. You're doing a great job, OP. I am certain that it was around Thanksgiving at this time, and my mom was hosting. Aunt Karen wasn't able to come, which really was a blessing in itself. Nor was Umbridge able to come, but Uncle Popo, Techbeard, and Kiddo all could. I had long since put my parrot upstairs, knowing that she wouldn't be able to handle the insanity of the then 3-year-old child. Not much went on until dinner, when things usually get more interesting. Techbeard sat with my siblings and I at one end of the table, while Uncle Popo sat with the adults. Something about the best beards. They are loud, and they need to be in every conversation, even if it's on the opposite end of the table. For some reason, Magic the Gathering had come up. I had played once upon a time, but at the time, I was dating a Cellbeard crossbreed of a boy, and I'm certain he tweaked the rules while I was learning, so I could never win against him, but it's another world, another time. Very unfortunate time. I'd gotten my deck, it's nothing too special, not even an official build, to show Techbeard, when Uncle Popo called out from across the table. They have a lot of dragons, Gelfling, he told me. You could take inspiration off of them for your art dolls. And I will admit, their dragons were pretty cool. And I find it fun having a posable dragon doll next to you to, you know, guard your dice and minis and cards. If any are curious, I'm in the Discord for questions, because this isn't really the place for a selfish plug. You can do that, that's fine. I'll be real with you, OP. I monetize these videos. I'll give you something back if you want. Probably one of the only YouTubers that actually will, come to think of it. I could see myself making some Magic the Gathering inspired dolls, I answered Uncle Popo, but I wouldn't want the headache of copyright or whatever, so I'm gonna stick with what I got.
You should come play at my place,
Techbeard told me.
We could teach you how to play. At least better than how your ex taught you.
And that was appealing to me at the time. I mean, I have my whole deck just sitting there doing nothing, so why not learn how to actually play? Honestly, it's just like chess. Everybody should know how to play Magic and chess. And that was the last that I thought of any of this until nearly a year later, around Halloween, when Techbeard texted me and told me about a Halloween party that he's throwing. It was with Magic the Gathering, so he was hoping that I would come and play. Oh no, he's gonna bring beard friends, isn't he? Well, I didn't really get out much at the time, and who knew? Maybe I could make a new friend. Why not? I said I'd be there, and after work that Saturday, I got ready and made my way to the nest. On arrival, it was in an apartment complex that was on the very edge of where the good part of town met the bad part of town. So, locking my car, I made my way to their apartment. On entering, I'm first hit with this musty scent, though I can't tell where it's coming from, and it's quickly overpowered by the sweaty appearance of Techbeard.
Gelfling, I'm glad you made it,
he told me, quickly hugging me. I hugged back, mostly to be polite, but I wondered if their shower was working. Nah, bro, it's the AOL CDs, I told you. Glad to be here, I answered as I took in my surroundings. It was a small apartment where you walk right into the living room. To the left was the kitchen, and I'm guessing the bathroom and bedrooms. I'd say a good comparison would be the nest of Miss Piggy and Wolfbeard. You guys have all watched the Wolfbeard saga, right? Come on now. There were boxes upon boxes of stuff, almost making a wall to keep Kiddo out of places. In the small living room was a large game table. No joke, this thing was a velveted pool, chips, and poker table. Likely one of the nicer ones. Behind the table, in a cubby, was a ham radio set, though I recall pictures of a bigger set in a separate room. And yet, at the same time, they say that they can't afford an actual daycare. Sus. Umbridge was sat slouched on the couch, playing Pokemon Go, a game I enjoy as well, but she didn't even get up to greet me. I think she's sort of missing the point of Pokemon Go. Umbridge just sat there and waved at me. There were 3 other people there. 2 were a couple, but both men had some pretty stank body odor. I was set between one and Techbeard, so no matter what, all I could smell was sweat and soda and that musty mystery smell. Honestly, some things are better left a mystery. We set up and start playing. Honestly, it is like riding a bike. Magic the Gathering is a fun game, and personally, I enjoy the artwork on the cards. But soon it was time to eat. It was wings. Most were dang spicy, and I personally don't like it when my food bites back, so I stuck with the garlic lemon wings, but entering the kitchen when my plate was done to rinse it off, I suddenly found the source of the musty mystery smell. Yep, here we go. There was a pile of used plates in the sink. And this pile was tall enough to where if you ran the water would spill onto the floor without a single drop landing where it should. I look around for a place to put my plate, and every counter, every little space had dirty cups, utensils, and even more plates. I actually felt a little claustrophobic in that space. Was the water black water, like in the Stealthbeard saga? Oh, that gotta be so good. You guys watched the Stealthbeard saga, right? Just reference every other thing I've ever done. Hey, Gelfling, Techbeard called. Want some cake? Oh, sure, just let me clean off my plate, I answer, not wanting to add to this nest. Nah, don't worry, here. Techbeard responded, handing me a fresh plate out of the ether, along with a new fork. Now, I'm not really a clean freak. My room could use a good week of cleaning to get it back in order, but I was raised to not cause a mess in someone else's home. Taking a whole new plate and fork when my plate was dirty felt really weird. I actually had thoughts of offering to clean their kitchen for a moment, but I realized this is a nest. No matter how much cleaning I do, if I start, it will never end. Yeah, dishes and laundry, the never-ending chores. So they just decided not to do them. They just buy restaurant quantities of new plates and leave them in the kitchen. But took a new plate, OP did, setting my old plate onto the nest while a bit of me groaned unhappily at that fact. Cake was being eaten when Kiddo made his appearance. Again, he's only 4, so I won't rag on him. But I will say I argued with him a little bit when he tried to steal my cake. It was the typical, "Kiddo, that's my cake," and his quick answer being,
My cake!
No, it's not gonna be like this.
Come here!
In this little game we were playing, Kiddo would bounce across me, and like I said, he ain't light. At one point, he headbutted me in the face while trying to get my cake. God, and Umbridge would only sigh and say,
Kiddo, that's their food. What do you say?
Which was utterly ignored by this human husky puppy. Thankfully, I was okay, and not wanting to cause a scene, I said nothing about the headbutt. Man, sometimes I think my kids are bad, and then I see other kids, and I'm just like, you know, mine are all right. I won the argument with a quick tickle, and he ran off giggling, but I watched as Techbeard gave Kiddo some fries and watermelon, and then just locked him in his room. Now, I'm not one to judge parenting, and I'm not a parent myself, but I'm not certain that this is a good method. With Kiddo being an only kid, wouldn't having him with the others in the living room teach him some manners and, you know, how to people? I digress. But you are right though, OP. That's the only way you're gonna fix this. So the evening is winding down by this point, and I am just looking for an excuse to leave. I was barely talking. The smell of that dirty kitchen and the body odor, it's just getting to me. This is when Umbridge strikes up a conversation.
I love your necklace,
she said.
Oh, what kind of crystal is that?
Oh, it's a dragon bloodstone, I answer, because I'm a friggin' dragon nerd and a crystal nut.
Oh, do you practice magic?
She asked. This is a bit controversial in my very Christian home, one that revolves around my many paranormal encounters, but this is a neckbeard study, not a ghost study. Yeah, a little bit, I admit, wanting some even ground and maybe even a friend to talk paranormal stuff with.
Oh, we should totally have a book club,
Umbridge answered.
I'm looking at starting a practice too. I just don't want to bring bad energy into the house.
I glanced toward the kitchen, where a majority of what I knew would have to take place. Well, I could show you a couple things in the future, and the conversation went on. I know this sounds super friendly, but this was a mistake on my part for letting her know my interest in this particular subject. As I mentioned, I live in a very Christian home, and while my path is different, I don't talk about it a lot, especially around family, and I told her not to bring it up when my family is nearby. The real mistake is that last part, dude. You just handed her a knife and you're like, now don't plunge this in my back. And she's like, okay. She promised she wouldn't. Let that be some foreshadowing. I mean, it's foreshadowing something you mentioned in part 1, right? Is there more to it? Anyway, finally the time of my departure came. My excuse being my bird. She has a bedtime and I couldn't stand the mountains of items around me, or the smell of the place, or the people. You should stay longer, Techbeard whined. Nope, sorry, my bird should be taken care of, I answer. Well, okay, but do come again, Techbeard told me.
I have lots of cards for you to pick from. We could build your own deck.
Yeah, maybe next time, I reply, not planning on returning. It was too loud, too cramped, too smelly. I also needed to use the restroom, but I didn't dare venture any further into the nest. Oh, come on, you could look at the bathtub full of AOL CDs. Pee on top of them. No one will know the difference. They're yellowed with age. My cousin got up and gave me another hug. I held my breath until he let me go, told him that I had a great time and get the heck out, eager to head home and have a shower. The game was fun, but it just was not my crowd. And at the time, I thought I was getting to become friends with Techbeard and Umbridge, but looking back, I realized how uncomfortable I was just being there. And I know that the Beards were friendly. It was this get-together that they would use against me only that Christmas, but I'll leave that for another time. I hope this report wasn't too dry. I was more surprised by the expensive-looking table, along with the greenhouse setup on the porch and the Alexa setup and his ham radio in the corner, but this is where I will close the report. Yeah, you said that already. Next is the not-so-thankful Thanksgiving, where Techbeard and Uncle Popo show just how much they do not respect others. Stay safe out there, and remember, crystals are great protection if you throw them hard enough. I don't know, man. The Beards don't seem too beardy or too malicious. They do live in a trash heap, but, like, you could really have a conversation about it, you know? You could establish a friendship with these Beards, even if your stipulation is, hey, we gotta meet outside of your house because I ain't ever going back in there. And then maybe they'd realize how it looks to others and completely change their ways, although for Beards, I guess that's hope beyond hope. But I'm still not 100% convinced that they're Beards. And maybe they're good Beards deep down, they just, I don't know how to parent, don't know how to clean, don't know how to do much of anything aside from play Magic the Gathering. But who knows, maybe they were set up for failure. I hope we'll get a continuation for this one at some point. Thank you so much for watching, friends. I hope you like, comment, subscribe, do all them things. That's really big brain, don't you know? Follow me on every social media ever. I'd appreciate that so much. I'd also like to thank my Patreon patrons and my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous channel members over here on YouTube. You guys helping me make it through January, and I cannot thank you enough. So, thank you to Sam Myers, Scuds, Bedazzled Miss, Joanna Ross, and Fire Drake. Buy two, get one hand. Me, Jerry S. Sue, Jerry. Project Duke, just video watching them melt your hand, and then there's Mute. One get comp, selling 666. Samantha, Origami, Steve, Vladimir, Dragonov, Sean Cantwell, John Indoors, and Train Boy. She's an angel, Dark Skylar, Rain, Fez, Wearer, Heaven Sent, 7777777, Robert Thibodeau, Grimstripe, Toothplushy, Corey Arts, Laurent Waver, Dungeon Bat, Billy D, Robert Wade, Friend Nashcraft, Phantom Danica, Skylar, Morningstar, the Gypsy Barber, Death's Flagship. And then we'll head over to the Patreon and stuff, and it will rock your socks off. At least I hope so. There's Miss Black and Harley Ho and Robert Waits again. It's so Camille, Sarah, Dawnbreaker Drake and Fluxer Captain Clown Jerry. Yeah, myth, what can change the nature of a Jerry? Nobody knows he lives a chef. Dan is lame. Origami Steve and Santa Jerry. Silent Revolver. Vertical Loops off the wrist 28. The original Jerry. There he is. And then there's Tato Ferret. 211 Jerry, Zarfar Barker, Destiny Piper, Jerry's Kitsune, and Frankenberry. Ain't that a hiding bitch, though? Apex Goat Jerry, where you at? Where you at, Apex Goat Jerry? Assassin Pug Jerry, Baby Jerry, Bailey Joy, Bill Lee D, Bitch Gremlin, Blade Hero, Chancellor Blue, Kraken, Commander J Tang. Dirty little Jerry, and there's Dr. Larks, and dude, you're getting a leg beard. I don't want it. Aaron Era, Erratic Mechanic, Eastparks 50 and Gizmo Jack, Hadrian BR, India, Irish Pirate, Iron Hollow, Radiator Jam, and JM Coon, and Jeremy Smith, Jerry Blacktail, Juicy Lucy, and the Adventures of Daddy Saggy Baggy, Juno Jerry, Cuddly Kraken, Lady Italian Grey, Houndito, Lady in Awakening, Lauren Crow, Legitimate Girth, Lord Jerry-O, and Luke of X. Like and subscribe. Milady Nix, Mad Monk, Melgar, Metal Factor, Needless King, Phantom of the Pines, Jerry Kittens and Jerry Beth, Sarita the Lolita, Scarlet's Covern, Sergeant Gay, Copbringer of the Lost, I Low him, Stephanie Goodnar, hey, that kind of rhymes. Storm, Jerry, Synaptic, Boomstick, Talk 'em out, Tamago, the Gypsy Barber, the one true Fusky, trying to find another mob of Vanguard Angel, VC3, Viking Jerry, Vladimir, Dragonov again, WikiTac, Comrade Mooney, Kira, not another Jerry, but he is though, Cage Outside, Bad Patty Lace, Carcass, Third Stuff, Venom Jerry. There's Jace Christensen and One Leg Jerry and a normal Jerry, but tell me what's a beard, a miserable little pile of cringe. Amara, Alder, Atomic Jerry, Zilla, Bartender Keelia, Big Dad Wolf, Broken Spine, Horse Radishka, Aguilar, and Cake Jerry. That's the original different Jerry. California Jerry Girl, Chikarada, Panda, Corey does commissions now. Cowabunga Jerry, Cryptid, he's deep on Jerry, Defter Tuna. Deku and this Wolfie Dude, and Jerry Boo's daughter, Ghost of Alpha. Grave on 365, half Slavic Jerry in a tracksuit. Then there's He Cannot. HMT Mayor walking into a GameStop to trade a pigeon for store credit. You remember that from the Crean Text video? Hydra Jerry, Solman, Janitor Jerry, can't think of anything funny right now. That's okay, no pressure. Jeffrey Geralt of Rivia, Jerry but with 2 S's and an E. Jerry Springer says you are not the beard. Jerry the Sussy Baka, Jerry's mom has got it going on. Jerry Roxors, Jerry role-playing game, Kitsakin Muchia CD, maybe next time. Miss Duchess, Mr. Gas Mask, not invisible angel, Raptor Rock Snary, that's Numb Jerry if you didn't know. Spoonie the Rose, Scary Jerry Ton, they call me Jerry Two Knives. This is purely a mercantile transaction. Thank you so much. To Advantage Jerry and beyond, Tokyo Bird, Trickster, Uncale Von Whimsy. I throw my 2-liter Mountain Dew, I say grow a neckbeard, grow. Neckbeard says, Milady. It's Jerry time, holds ReddX Morpher. I'm summoning the power of hygiene as well as humility. And thank you to my $1 patron as well. Woo! That was something. Maybe a mess. I don't know. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to stay safe out there, friends. Wash your hands. Do all them things. And of course, always remember that you are loved. You are worthy. You definitely, definitely deserve it. And I shall see you in the next one. So until then, friends, bye-bye.